I'm so abundant everywhere I go. Look up at the sky, I can see the money flow. My soul is a tree, every day I will grow. Love and peace are the seeds that I only plan to throw.
It's your girl, my Javelle, and you are going to be toning in to the Black Sheep Podcast. Okay, this Black Sheep Podcast is for us people who the outcast. Okay, whether you were the disappointment of the family, whether you were, just the one that was different, whether you're the one that was always different in your friend group, whether you're the one that people pushed away, maybe you were the one who just pushed everybody away because you knew you were different. The one who, honestly, like is looked at taboo, the one that's looked at differently, the one that can be praised, the one that can be hated on, just like different things. Like, as Black Sheep people, man, sometimes it's like you don't realize it for a long time because you don't know no term, but it's just funny. It's just funny how us Black Sheeps can really just grow and overpower and be like, haha. When I'm saying overpower, as in like be strong within themselves, because when you get settled into that type of category where it's like, like, all right, I'm different, and I know that not everybody's the same, but there's a lot of people who kind of just flock together. Like, we all do it. We all flock with somebody or some group of people, and then we realize, like, there is something a little different about me. Like, I'm not like everyone else, you know what I mean? And a lot of us get in that situation, like whether you're like, you love spirituality, like I'm telling you, like you're probably looked at as the Black Sheep in your family. If you read cards and stuff like that, you're probably looked at the Black Sheep if people don't understand it, don't know what you're doing. Even if you're like a music or creator or anything, you play an instrument, like if other people don't do that, you might be looked at like in good ways. I'm telling you, that's what I'm saying. You could be praised or anything, but you could be looked at as like, they can do that. Oh my God, they're so cool. They're like, what? There's different ways, like being a Black Sheep. Like I'm telling you, it's not always a bad thing. But it's like growing up, it's like they make it. That's when you probably do get, well, unless if someone says like, oh yeah, they're really gifted or something like that. I mean, yeah, the Black Sheep is probably the one that, in a quote unquote negative way, is like the one that's like the troubled child. There's always that one person in the family that is the reckless one. The one that everyone's like, oh, they ain't going nowhere. They just gonna be troublemaker. They probably gonna end up in jail. They ain't gonna do nothing with their life. That type of thing. That's the Black Sheep. That's the Black Sheep. The Black Sheep is always like counted out or talked about or just being put in a position where people don't believe them, or they just don't have good to say. And then you got the positive Black Sheeps where it's just like, yeah, you're getting all the praise, where you're just like, oh snap, like they're talented. And even if you're looked at in the bad way as a Black Sheep, you still can be talented and stuff like that. Like that's how I am. Like I know that I definitely am the Black Sheep of my family because one, I am multi-talented. I do have lots of talents. But I am like one of the kindest and most genuine people ever. Like, yeah, I could have had a reckless past. I could have done some stupid shit like we all do. But at the end of the day, I ain't never been to jail, knock on wood. I ain't never been, what's the word? I ain't never killed nobody. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I ain't never done nothing crazy. No, I did a lot of crazy things growing up. There's shit that I probably did that was crazy. I can't even lie. But at the end of the day, I'm still a good person, I promise you I am. But no. But yeah, but this is what this podcast is going to be for. I want this podcast to be something where people who have always like either felt left out or felt different or do have like special gifts and stuff like that, and they just want to either show them or they want to talk about them. I want to talk about different things. Like at the end of the day, I'm the Black Sheep. We all could be Black Sheeps together. We could all join the farm together. You know what I'm saying? But I just want this to be an outlet where people can just talk about whatever is on their mind, whether we don't agree, whether we like have debates about certain things. Like that's what I want. I feel like you can't have good relationships with people if you can't have a decent, good debate with them. Honestly, you're not always supposed to agree with everything. That's just how I feel. But I am going to tell you a little bit about me. Not in this video, but in the next video. I just want to get you guys to understand what this podcast is going to be about. This is going to be a podcast where it can get emotional. It can be happy as anything. But it's all about realness and realness and realness. I want to tell you about how growing up for me was, and kind of how things are now in my life, and kind of how I changed mindsets, and kind of how I went through certain battles and stuff like that. Because I know a lot of people who are looked up as the black sheep, they are the ones that kind of go through it, whether they have addictions of some sort, or or they're just going through mad struggles that not everybody else in their group or family or group of friends aren't going through. And I'm not saying that everybody doesn't have problems. We all have problems, but there are certain people who hide more, or they just don't look like they've been through as much as they have. And I know I'm one of those people. A lot of people don't know half the shit that I've went through in my life. My family itself doesn't even know a lot of things I've done. But in a lot of ways that I felt either. But it is what it is. But we're going to talk about that, okay? I want this to be a place where people can know that it's okay. I'm no therapist, but I can relate to you. And that's just what I want to do. I want to relate with people, and I want them to be able to know that you're not alone in this world. Yeah, you're different, but your different is unique, and you have to understand that being different and being unique is normal. Well, no, that's not the word I want to use. It is a norm. It is a norm, but I don't want to be like anybody else, and I know that a lot of us don't want to be like anybody else. We just want to be true to ourselves. And that's what this podcast is going to be about, okay? So, like I said, this video is just about explaining what a black sheep is, why I want to do this podcast, and different things I want to do. I want to have people that we have video chats and stuff like that I can post on here, and we could just talk about certain things, talk about how you knew you were different, talk about how you felt you maybe were an outcast and stuff like that, or if you want to share some of your talents, share some of your interests, that's where you can do. We gonna do this though, because all black sheeps ain't bad. They not. We get perceived as certain ways, but it's okay. We can perceive other people's and others as certain things. Everybody is open to an opinion, okay? But I want this to be an outlet where people can talk about their shit, can feel comfortable, feel safe. At the end of the day, being on the internet in general, people are going to comment however they want, talk about whatever they want. If you feel like you're exposing people, and this is not a place, things can get exposed. Honestly, I'm keeping it real. That's why I want this shit to be real. If shit needs to be exposed, shit needs to be exposed. You don't got to sit here and throwing names out there or anything, but you can tell your story in different ways, because I'm going to be telling my story. So along the way, as I progress with putting videos out, I'm going to be putting the first couple of videos up about briefing different parts of my life, from growing up and growing old, and talk about certain things that I know other people can relate. We're going to start off on how being raised by a single mom, and my growing up, things that I did growing up, certain things like that, and then me getting older, how relationships change and stuff like that, with family, with friends, and to now where I am a very hermited person, but it's for a good reason. It's definitely for growth and good reason. And I want to talk about that, and kind of just tell my stories to kind of help other people either feel comfortable sharing their stories, or just having a place to talk to, a place in person to talk to in a community. I want this to be something where everybody can be a part of, and we'll see where it goes. But again, my name is Maya Javel, and again, thank you for listening so far, and tune in. Seriously, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I ain't gonna lie about nothing. I don't like to lie anyways, and hopefully if you come on this channel, you don't give me any lies or fibs either. Just keep it real. And yeah, but yeah, this is just a little intro video, and I just want to kind of get it out there what this point of this podcast is gonna be. Maybe I'll do some just on like a voice recording, or I could still even just put this up and just have an image on there, so that way it's like you don't have to see me, but I do want to engage with people and I do want people to be able to see me. But it is what it is. We'll switch it up sometimes, you never know. But yeah, but hope you get this, like the whole logic of what I'm trying to do here. If not, it's okay. It's okay. You'll see along the way, but just want to break it down to you and welcome you to the Black Sheep Podcast. Did you hear me? The Black Sheep Podcast. So bye Black Sheep. I'll see you next week.
You put down the low, I started attracting, call it law of attraction.